Hey, how's it going everybody? It's your boy, and well, breaking news, Tommy Robinson has been arrested for assault. But that's what you would hear if you saw just the news reports going out, because all they ever say is, Tommy Robinson arrested for assault. The Sun said it, the Record I think said it, loads of other websites have been reporting on this story, going on about how he assaulted this man in a swimming pool and he was arrested by police, and well, he's now been charged. But that is not the full story, because you see, the story is a little bit more complicated than that. In fact, in many ways, a bit sympathetic depending on how you view it. For you see, this is the actual context behind what happened during his assault. So Tommy was simply taking one of his kids to the swimming baths, as you are wont to do as a parent, and while his little daughter, I think she's 8 years old, was swimming around in the swimming pool doing what kids do, a man approached her from behind and pinched her ass. Yeah, are we beginning to see a bit more context now, guys? Now, what kind of man would pinch or squeeze or touch a young girl's ass? A nonce. That is what we are talking about here, guys. For the Americans who don't know what nonce means, it means paedophile. Obviously scared and distraught, his daughter rushed to Tommy and said, "This man did this to me." Tommy confronts the man and he punches him in the face after the guy tried to say, "Oh, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to pinch her ass, to squeeze it. It was an accident." Now, how exactly you accidentally pinch somebody's ass, you squeeze it, I don't know. I'm sorry, you're not a cute girl. You're not fooling anybody, alright? So, as I said before, Tommy punched the man in the face, and this obviously created a ruckus, and the police were called and Tommy was arrested. And of course, the story goes viral quickly. Newspapers take it up all around the world. It wouldn't be like that if it was simply some random guy punching a nonce in a swimming pool. This is Tommy Robinson. He's world famous. Now that context really puts a lot of things into perspective, doesn't it? Now you realise that actually Tommy wasn't arrested simply for assault. He wasn't just randomly assaulting a person in the swimming pool. He had a reason to punch the guy in the face, whether you agree with his actions or not. It is a lie by omission from the media, particularly the Sun, to go out there and say, "Oh, Tommy Robinson's been arrested for assault." Well, there's a reason why he assaulted that person, and that is because that man sexually assaulted his daughter. Now, I have some reservations about his punching, and I'll get into it, but first, let me just say, I completely understand why he did it. I completely get it. And there are people on the left who hate Tommy who understand it as well. They get it because a lot of them are parents and they would do the exact same thing. There are people who have been intellectually honest about this who aren't even in the media. They're actually on the media side, politically at least, and even they are saying, look, anybody would do that. However, this is Tommy Robinson we're talking about here, and unfortunately the rules don't apply to him as they would to anybody else. He can't just go up to a nonce who sexually assaulted his daughter and punch him in the face and expect to be let off. It is understandable that he would defend his daughter in such a way. However, it's Tommy Robinson. He has to think about a lot of other things other than protecting his daughter, unfortunately. Now, unfortunately, because it's Tommy, this can end up blowing in his face. Optically, it looks bad because the media will make it out to be bad because they will lie, as I said, by omission. And now they've already been trying to paint him as a thug for many years now, and this will simply be used as furthermore evidence that the man is indeed a thug. So really, he probably shouldn't have punched the guy in the first place. He had staff around him that he could have approached to detain the man, to do a citizen's arrest before they called the cops. He didn't necessarily have to punch the guy because he has to think about these things. He has to think, well, if I punch this guy, this is going to make headline news because people were filming it already. He has footage on his channel filming him and his conversation with the police as he was getting arrested. He has to realise that the rules of the game don't apply to him. They're different. If he punches somebody, even if it's self-defense and protecting somebody else, that will be used against him. If he's a random person, most likely it will never reach headline news. But from that perspective, in many ways, you could argue it's a stupid decision optically because he's Tommy Robinson. If he punches anybody, he's going to get arrested. The police are already waiting for him to commit a crime or to do something where they can say he committed a crime. He's got the media already waiting to pounce on him if he makes one mistake. He really isn't in a position to exact vengeance and justice upon a nonce. And you know, I can see that, I can see the argument, but the thing is, as I was thinking earlier, parents don't think rationally when they're defending their children. When they see them getting sexually assaulted, when somebody admits to them that this has happened, that they did it, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to hit them. Now, if I was in the same position, I probably would punch him. Although I'm not Tommy, I seem to have a little bit more patience when it comes to this. I can control my anger a bit more. I most likely would have just gone to the pool authorities. If I was in Tommy's position, if I was as famous and infamous as him, I would probably not risk physical violence. I would just report him, get him detained, because there's not many places where he can escape from a swimming pool. So the chances are, in my hypothetical situation, that the staff would do their part. I would protect my child by keeping her close, and the police would be called. All avenues of escape for the nonce would be closed, and he will be arrested. Job's a good un, Bob's your uncle. But that's obviously the most perfect scenario. Things like that don't happen in reality. This is just, once again, the mainstream media twisting narratives, twisting stories to attack somebody else. But the problem is, it's a paedophile. Once you learn the actual context, which isn't actually hard to find, you realise very quickly that they're indirectly defending a paedophile. Now, do they really want to defend a paedophile? Do they really want to do that? No, they do not. And unfortunately, this is what they're doing. This is how low some people in the media have to go in order to tarnish the reputation of somebody, defending paedophiles. Isn't it just beautiful, guys? So anyway, that's really the end of the video. It's really a short one. There's nothing more I can say other than the media are lying. Good on some of the leftists to say, yes, it's understandable why he would assault the guy. Anybody would have done that. I myself, personally, I have a bit more control. Although if I was a parent, I would be a bit more irrational, so probably I would have punched him. I do think that Tommy needs to be careful when he does such things, because they are literally waiting for him to break the rules so they can arrest him, because he's an enemy of the state. He is. He is a bona fide enemy of the state. They are looking for things to silence him for, to put him in prison so he can't do anything. That's the reality of the situation, so he needs to be more careful. And he's done several things where he's just made the wrong decision and ended up in prison. Now, obviously, some of the things are justified, he has to do it. But there are other things you just think, you just walked into a trap. In this situation, it's not really a trap, and I guess I'm being too harsh on him. I'm just trying to look at it at different angles. Personally, I probably would have punched the guy. I think he is justified, although I think there are other ways of dealing with it, although, again, parents are irrational. So anyway, what do you guys think? Am I being too harsh on him? Am I just being too overly cautious? Am I just trying to think of the overall picture here too much? Am I thinking like a culture warrior and not a parent? Newsflash, I have no kids. Anyway, until next time, guys, I'll see you later.